My name is Isaac, and I graduated in 2008. I am currently serving full-time as the Associate Pastor of Youth and Families at North Fresno Church MB. When I think about what I do, one of the things that is valuable to me about what I do is I get to be with people in meaningful moments, by which I mean I, as a pastor, get to be with people sometimes on their difficult days or their memorable days at weddings and funerals. And even though that work is hard, often what I get to do as a follower of Jesus is I get to be present with them and to give them a message of hope. And so there's a lot of things that are difficult about this work, but the meaningfulness of it is something that just drives me and keeps me going. So as a pastor, one of the scriptures that just feeds my imagination is John's prologue, right? Where he's telling the story of Jesus and he opens it up and he says, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us." Just this idea that the eternal Logos, that God, the creator of the universe, would come and meet us in our humanity to open up new horizons for us out of love. And that incarnation, the mystery of the incarnation, this incredible thing that's been passed down through time and cultures, it drives me, I find, to move beyond myself and toward people to be present with them as Christ is present to us. So when I am reflecting on my time in undergrad, one of the classes I remember best was a class called Church in an Urban World. And I was in that class, and at that time I had been getting my teeth kind of cut in ministry at a couple of church plants. And I remember going all over the city and just seeing how different contexts and neighborhoods and cultures brought out different dimensions of the Jesus story and the teachings of Jesus. And being in that class gave me such confidence to begin to not only discern what the Spirit of Jesus was doing around me, but to speak into that and ultimately to kind of discover my calling as a person who had been gifted with the gift of an education to be a resource to under-resourced communities. So one of my favorite classroom moments was actually a learning moment that happened outside of the classroom when my peers and I were taken by one of our professors out to a Greek Orthodox church here in the city of Fresno. And I remember sitting in this enormous sanctuary, and it's beautiful, and I'm surrounded by really smart people that are having this incredible intellectual, analytical conversation about theology and history and culture, but we're doing it in a place where we're surrounded by beauty and art and this sense of transcendence that I remember in that moment. It was eye-opening for me. It showed me more about the body of Christ and the beauty of the gospel, and it's something that sort of propelled me to learn in all sorts of different ways that I didn't know was possible before. So I think that the ministry programs here at Fresno Pacific are excellent because a lot of times people from the outside can imagine that when you become a pastor or you're going into ministry or you're leading a nonprofit, that what you really do is you go to school and you get a degree first, and then you're all prepared, and then you start kind of serving and leading. But the reality is that here at Fresno Pacific, when you come into these programs, you begin to actually serve and to put into practice with real people in real time the things that you're learning. And so I think that strong practical approach to doing ministry with people, to reflecting on it, to preparing and developing our skills is something that makes this program really excellent in preparing you for what ministry in real churches is like.